Whoa! Ladies and gentlemen, what an international break we have just had in June. Honestly, apart from any major international tournaments, this one was one of my favorites. We've just seen some confirmed World Cup debutants in Asia. Ronaldo just lifted the Nations League trophy, but in my biased opinion, and most importantly, the World Cup qualifiers in UEFA. For those of you that are new here, I predict every single match day for the World Cup qualifiers in UEFA, and then do a reaction and tally on how many got right and wrong, and also just a basic overview on each of the matches. Also, if you're new here, I'm sorry to say I'm not Italian. I just needed a good thumbnail. Anyways, always leave an early like, subscribe if you're new, and let's get into it, starting off with match day 3. First match we're going over, Wales versus Liechtenstein. There is a clear favorite in this, especially with Wales being at home. They already have an incredible home record. I'm saying they win this one 4-0. Alright, only a tad bit confident in Wales, but still I'm giving myself a point for that since it is the correct outcome, win, draw, or loss. But still an absolutely dominant display for them. Liechtenstein did not even get a single attempt. Moving on now to North Macedonia versus Belgium. Belgium will be embarking on their first ever match in the World Cup qualifiers. In my opinion, Rudi Garcia is not necessarily the answer for Belgium to excel, but I still think they should feel comfortable in this qualifier campaign. Belgium sit low in the table, obviously, since they have not played a match yet, and Macedonia in recent times have proven that they are not pushovers whatsoever, topping their Nations League group and going head-to-head with Wales at their own home ground. If they're able to overcome Belgium here, they can actually go undefeated in an entire calendar year, as their last loss was to Czechia right before the Euros in a friendly in June. 8 matches undefeated, but now they have a very tough task on their hands. Many people are definitely going to sway towards Belgium at the moment, and rightfully so, but I would definitely not underestimate Macedonia in World Cup qualifier campaigns. As we've seen in the 2022 tournament, they defeated Germany and Italy. Could they give Belgium a scare? I'm going to say it's close, but not possible. Belgium win this match 2-1 away. North Macedonia pulled off the draw against Belgium, and honestly, they could have won that match. Belgium did not play so well. Macedonia also blundered their own chances. Alioski had a horrible miss, but then he made up for it, scoring an absolute beauty. And Belgium, although they were dominant in the stats, they did not look so strong at all this game. For Macedonia, after this match, they became 9 matches undefeated, and we'll get into their next one later on. Obviously, Courtois' injury was a huge blow for the Red Devils. I told you at the beginning, and I'm still keeping my opinion. I don't think Rudi Garcia is the right man for the job. Moving on now to Gibraltar versus Croatia. Hrvatska definitely have an exciting window ahead. Definitely a lot of uncertainty in the national team right now. Luka Modric has just confirmed that he is leaving Real Madrid. If they lose to Gibraltar, that would be absolutely embarrassing. This side have not won a single qualifier match in their entire history. Croatia should be getting a comfortable away win. I'm going to go bold and say they win 5-0. Well, I should have been even more bold. Hrvatska pulled off the 7-0 victory away. I know it is just Gibraltar, but it is still the biggest win we have seen so far in this World Cup qualifier campaign. Even those who are criticized to be too old for the team are still scoring bangers. Ivan Perisic, take a bow. What more do I have to say? 7 goals in your first World Cup qualifier match, no matter the opponent, is phenomenal. Moving on to Estonia versus Israel. These sides have actually already faced each other back in March in the same World Cup qualifier campaign, where Israel won 2-1. They absolutely dominated the stats, but obviously Estonia kept it close. It will be interesting to see how they can cope with traveling to Estonia. I do think they'll push through for another victory, though. I'm saying it finishes once again 2-1 for Israel. Wow, despite Israel scoring 3 goals at the end, Estonia actually played really well at first and gave it their all, but they eventually gassed out, collapsed, and Israel definitely took advantage. Now this match is massive. Norway versus Italy, the 2 favorites in Group I. So much pressure on both these national teams to perform. I think this is one of the greatest matchups in this World Cup qualification campaign. Italy haven't qualified for the last 2 World Cups, as we all know, so not doing so for a 3rd time would be absolutely inexcusable. It was already inexcusable the other 2 campaigns. 3 times in a row is unthinkable for this nation. While Norway, despite having all of this incredible talent to their disposal, have not qualified for a major international tournament since 2000. They had a flying start to this World Cup qualifier campaign, though. Top of their group at the moment, 2 for 2 wins, scoring 9 goals in 2 matches, 5-0 to Moldova and 4-2 to Israel, like I said earlier. Norway have had such a fantastic start, like I said. Can they keep it going? I'm going to say that they still remain undefeated, but this one finishes in a draw. High-scoring affair, 2-2. Italy, what happened? This one was not even close, 3-0. I definitely would have not been surprised if Norway pulled this off in the first place, but 3-0. I was not expecting. An absolute dominant performance for Norway. This was the biggest example of men against boys. Donnarumma went from being one of the best goalkeepers at the Champions League tournament to immediately conceding 3 goals for the Azzurri. And this is one of the biggest nightmare scenarios for Italy, actually. This obviously puts Norway at a massive advantage to keep that first place spot that they already had. Of course, Italy can climb the ranks later on and still qualify for the playoffs as well. But, as we know throughout history, the playoffs do not go in their favor anyway. And of course, Italy do have another fixture against Norway, and it will be played at their own home stadium, so they might have a better advantage there. But Norway are looking to be in incredible form. In their last 5 matches, they have scored 3 or more goals, and now they've done it against Italy, who are known to be incredible defensively. Guys, at this rate, Italy really might miss a 3rd World Cup in a row, even with the expanded format. How can a nation that won 4 World Cup titles fall down this hard? I'm telling you, nothing's confirmed yet, but it is not looking good. Now, they have sacked Spalletti though. That's definitely a start. It was clear that he is not the right man for the job. Yes, he was incredible at Napoli, but for the Azzurri, it looked like he kind of redeemed himself in the Nations League, but he was also poor at the Euros. Obviously, inexcusable stuff for the Azzurri, but at the same time, what a performance from Norway, and we really got to give them all the praise right now. We have criticized this team so much for missing so many recent international tournaments, but now we might finally see these two play at a World Cup. They're phenomenal, of course, but not just them. Nusa has really proved his quality this international break. Solat as well. This attack overall has been incredible. Solbakken completely flipped a switch with his tactics. I think Norway are back. It might be a bit reactionary. I know we still have a long way to go in this World Cup qualifier campaign. But this result right here was such a statement victory for the Scandinavian nation. Even though they were on a tear in their other matches as well, scoring loads of goals, people were still saying they weren't necessarily put to the test. And although Italy did not play well this match, I think Norway definitely proved their quality here. Maybe I'll jinx it, and at the end of this campaign, you could come back and laugh at this video, but I do think Norway are qualifying for their first World Cup in 28 years. And in terms of my prediction, at least I predicted Norway's undefeated streak to continue. Czechia versus Montenegro next. Both these nations are top of their group with 2-for-2 wins, and this will be a crucial fixture for either of them to really solidify their dominance, as Croatia has now entered the stage and could definitely catch up. It's interesting though, as both these sides played the same exact opponents in the last international break, and both sets of matches had similar events occurring. Narrow victory to Faroe Islands and a more dominant display against Gibraltar. I'm definitely rooting for Trnogora to push through in this, but I do think the favorites on paper will get the victory here. It'll be narrow though, a 2-1 victory for Czechia. Honestly, I could have got the scoreline exactly correct if Montenegro's goal was not ruled out. No surprises whatsoever on the goal scores, but unfortunately they could not turn up in the next match. Now moving on to Bosnia versus San Marino. San Marino, the worst ranked national team in the world. Anytime they face a team, the whole world is against their opposition. It would truly be a great underdog story for them to secure at least one more win in this World Cup qualification campaign, but I cannot see it against Bosnia. I think an aging Dzeko can still thrive in a matchup like this, Demirovic as well. I think Bosnia have what it takes to get a 3-1 victory. I do for some reason see them slipping 1 goal to the mighty San Marino, but still, they'll pick up the 3 points at the end. Wow, I knew San Marino for some reason wouldn't make this so easy for Bosnia, but 1-0 definitely shocked me. I thought Bosnia would at least score 2 goals, and maybe San Marino getting on the score sheet like you saw. They dominate possession, but still nothing, and in comes Edin Dzeko to seal the deal and save his nation. I'll show you all this group because Bosnia did not play in Matchday 4. They're still, though, at the top. Obviously, with more matches played than Austria, but they have still not gone and lost a single match or even drawn. Barely defeating each and every one of their opponents, but regardless, pulling through. I'm really curious to see what happens, though, once they do actually face Austria, their toughest opponent on paper. I'm a boss though, I don't care how you guys do it. I really just want to see you at the World Cup once again. Moving on now to Malta versus Lithuania. Malta, the only team to get 2-for-2 losses. Lithuania did not get a win yet either, but they picked up a draw against Finland. I'm going to say it finishes in a 2-2 draw. Okay, well, getting a draw is always rewarding. Obviously not the correct scoreline. Shout out to Jamie Carragher's son though for getting a clean sheet against Lithuania. Moving on now to Andorra versus England. This has to be one of the most one-sided matches we are looking at in this video. Tuchel is still definitely experimenting some new things with the 3 lines, but they are still grabbing clean sheets and a solid amount of goals in their matches. 2-0 against Albania, 3-0 against Latvia. I think it's going to be 5-0 against Andorra. I know I give myself the correct tally no matter what if the win, draw, or loss is correct, but should I just give myself the loss on this one? This was obviously not England's best squad they fielded, but still, 1-0 to Andorra. and only 1 goal from Harry Kane. Or to be fair, that goal marked his 450th goal in his professional career. But still, this was a very dry performance from the Three Lions. I know they controlled the match, but out of all the teams they just scraped through against scoreline-wise, this one was definitely a shock. At least England has not conceded a goal yet in this World Cup qualifier campaign. This one will be tough though. Austria versus Romania. Austria under Ralf Rangnick seemed like a perfect match in heaven after they topped their difficult Euro group, but they did get knocked out to third gear too early for their standards. And since then have bottled quite a few opportunities in the Nations League. They looked to run away with first until they bottled that. Norway topped the group instead, and then in the Nations League playoffs they lost to Serbia head-to-head. Romania, like I mentioned earlier though, definitely had some short points in the last campaign, losing to Bosnia in their own home ground. They did have a good amount of injuries though, and still do. Dragusin is still not available. I think Austria have what it takes to win this one, but narrowly. I'm going to say it finishes 2-1. Boom, let's go, 2-1, correct scoreline as well. Austria controlling the match, Romania scraped through for a last-minute goal. But yeah, unfortunately, I did not see Romania winning this match due to the injury concerns they have. They're just not looking at their strongest right now. It's definitely huge losses. It takes them even further down in the table. Ralf Rangnick, after topping that Euro group, has had a decent amount of shortcomings though. Is he back, or will Bosnia pull off the 1-0 victory against them as well? Now moving on to Finland versus the Netherlands. As long as Van Dijk doesn't have a 2-week-long hangover after Liverpool's title win, I do think that the Netherlands will win 3-0 here. Close enough, Finland did somewhat put off a good fight, I guess, but the Netherlands obviously are going to dominate this group. I don't have much to say in this one. It was a really expected scoreline. Shout out to Dumfries for still getting on the score sheet though. Now moving on to that match. That match that FIFA decided to not ban after all that catastrophe from the Euro 2016 qualifiers. Albania versus Serbia. For those of you that don't know, those events in Belgrade resulted in a 3-point deduction from Serbia and for the match to be awarded a 3-0 victory for Albania. So hopefully no events will occur where we'll have to see such punishments again, as I just want to see a clean World Cup qualifier campaign where both these teams put off an incredible fight and none of the fans jeopardize their team's chances to qualify for the World Cup. Albania have never qualified for a World Cup before, but are definitely looking to make some decent progress. While Serbia on the surface looks to have a better team on paper, their national team is not in the most stable situation right now. Their manager, Dragan Stojkovic, an incredible player, unfortunately has somewhat lost his spark as their national team manager. Yes, he does have some random solid moments like defeating Austria in the Nations League playoffs. They also were able to finally defeat Switzerland in the Nations League. But their World Cup 2022 performances was a disgrace, and also at Euro 2024, they were 4th place in their group, only scoring 1 goal as well against Slovenia in stoppage time. I feel like the morale has still not necessarily boosted up since the Euros, despite those small victories in the Nations League. Milinkovic-Savic, one of their best players, does not want to still return to the national team. He decided to withdraw after all the criticism from the Euros. Dusan Tadic retired internationally indefinitely as long as Pixie is in charge. So despite the slight bounce back, it's still overall not a good look. And what's an even worse look is, I hate to say it because I really like to see Serbia do well, they do let the emotions get the best of them. Take the World Cup 2022 match for example. Their anger and frustration stopped them from being able to come back against the Swiss. Fighting at the end of the match, targeting the ethnic Albanian players. They basically built a rivalry with Switzerland just because of those ethnic Albanian players, Xhaka and Shaqiri. So will they truly be composed traveling all the way to Albania and having one of the most hostile atmospheres they'll probably experience? You also know Albania is going to play their heart out in a fixture like this, and their football is definitely improving under Slovenia. Anything can happen in this one. At the end, I did predict Serbia to get that playoff spot, but I would not be surprised if Albania do get 3 points at their own home ground. I think it will either finish in a draw or an Albania victory. I'm going to say it finishes 1-1 though. I got the draw correct, but at what cost? I think I owe you guys an apology. I have hyped up this match way too much, from even making a video about it before this World Cup qualifier group was announced. Yet this match was nearly as boring as Malta versus Lithuania. No goals scored, just a few yellow cards, nothing serious, but a goalless draw. Yes, Petrovic did save a penalty, but apart from that moment, it was a really boring match to watch, and honestly, I was trying to really stay awake at the end. Obviously though, it is not a terrible result for either of these teams, but they have all to play for in Belgrade next. Maybe it's an even better result for Serbia to pull off a draw away in that hostile atmosphere. At least I got my wish that the match would end in 90 minutes and there's no point deductions, suspensions. Everything turned out all right. for now. Last time all those occurrences did happen in Belgrade, so we'll see what happens there. All right, I'm done hyping up this match though. But yeah, that concludes match day 3. Let's move on to match day 4 and take a look more at the groups. Starting out with Kazakhstan versus North Macedonia. Kazakhstan, what a beautiful story they told in the Euro 2024 qualifier campaign. They might be able to pull off a result here, but I do think Macedonia are in too good a form right now. I don't think they'll let their spirit down even if they lose to Belgium. I'm saying North Macedonia get a decent win here. It finishes 3-1. Okay guys, I know it was just a 1-0 victory, but I think it's time we take North Macedonia serious here. Undefeated still, even after facing Belgium, they actually might be qualifying for the World Cup. It's redemption time after being in that very difficult World Cup qualifier playoff path in 2022. Still pulling through against Italy. Unfortunate to face on Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal. This team are looking so good right now, and I genuinely could see them at least qualifying for that second place spot. Even if not, they did really well in the Nations League, so they might still have a playoff spot on lockdown. They have always been an underrated team filled with spirit, and full trust in their manager Milevski has been paying off. I just hope they keep it up and don't eventually have a massive slip to Belgium or something like that. But at this rate, it seems like they're doing everything right. They just got to secure a few more wins now. Italy versus Moldova. Moldova, just like Kazakhstan, told a really fascinating tale at the Euro 2024 qualifier campaign, upsetting the likes of Poland. But they've been getting exposed as of late, and I think Italy can get the best of them. I'm saying they win 5-0. I probably would have gone for something a little bit less had I known what happened against Norway, but Italy still pulled off the win. In Spalletti's last match in charge, they managed to get 2 goals. And it seems like all the Italian fans are just relieved that this match in particular is over, so they can focus on the future, focusing on a new manager and identity, because the Azzurri are at a really low point right now. Obviously, since they were in the Nations League quarterfinals, they are a bit behind in terms of matches played compared to the likes of Norway and even Israel, who are in front of them. But they have so much work to do to catch up. I think even if they continue to win every match going forward, it will still be too tough for them to catch up to Norway unless they get a massive win against them. So they gotta pray that Norway finds some other slipping as well, but this group looks really comfortable for both these national teams on paper, so I doubt it. Obviously, the Azzurri need to do everything they can to keep fighting for the first place spot, but I think they should mentally prepare that they're most likely going to be in that playoff position. Estonia versus Norway. Like I mentioned, Norway have been scoring loads and loads of goals in each of their matches. Estonia sometimes keep it cagey though, especially when they are not the favorites on paper. But I still think Norway have what it takes to score at least 3 goals. I'm saying it finishes 3-1. Out of all teams to break Norway's streak of scoring so many goals in a single match, 3 to be exact, yeah, I'm surprised it was Estonia to break it. But regardless, Norway got the 3 points to have 4 for 4 wins at the top of the table. At the same time though, watching how Estonia played at the beginning of the match against Israel, it does make sense that they frustrated Norway here. It was an away match as well, so I think when Norway do face this side once again at their own home ground, it'll probably be a more one-sided scoreline. I don't think Norwegians will be complaining about this result though. What a position they are in to qualify for their first World Cup, like I said, in 28 years. Now this match I'm very nervous about, Croatia versus Czechia. Although Croatia do have the home field advantage on this one, the national team love to give their fans a heartache in qualification campaigns. Yes, most of the time they are successful, but too many times it's left in the dying match days. Czechia without a doubt have what it takes to frustrate Croatia here. If not this match day, I'm definitely also nervous for the next time they face. And I would not be surprised whatsoever if I eat my words here, but I do think Croatia can still pull off a 2-1 victory. What a win for Hrvatska. That means they've scored 12 goals in 2 matches in their first 2 World Cup qualifier games. I think that makes them one of the most informed teams this month in Europe. 5-1 against a strong side like Czechia. How did I get it in the thumbnail but not my actual video? Everyone just looks confident and happy to be on the team. And honestly, Croatia could have scored way more than 5. There were definitely a decent amount of wasted opportunities in the first half, but regardless, they finished off strong and continued to push forward. This side, every single year now, receive the comment that they are an aging squad and are on the verge of a decline. But those aging players are still pulling the strings. Who are the goal scorers? Luka Modric, who will soon be 40. Ivan Perisic, who's 36, 33-year-old Budimir and Kramaric, and all the young talent developing as well. Luka Vučković finally making his senior debut, Sučić going to Inter, Gvardiol continuing to develop, he played wonderfully in that match. Ivanovic up top is a solid reinforcement to have. A huge reason why I love this international break so much is because of Croatia's performances. They've totally regained my confidence in the national team. I hope it's not just a spurt of form and they really continue their strength, because this World Cup qualifier group, no offense to the other teams, really should be doable for them. Czechia looked to be the only question mark, but they really fell apart in this match. Ivan Hasek, unfortunately, is he the right man for the job? I mean, he was doing alright in the other matches until he had to face Hrvatska. What more to say, we're already one of the teams to score the most goals in European World Cup qualifiers, and we've only played 2 matches. Modric looks too happy to be here. I really hope he stays for another World Cup. Belgium versus Wales. Although Belgium are the favorites in their group without a doubt, they actually do have a difficult international break, as these are the 2 tougher teams in their group, Macedonia and Wales. In fact, Belgium's head-to-head record with Wales is actually quite even, with them just having the slightest of advantages. A favorite on paper, but still, I think the possibilities are endless in this one. I am still going to favor Belgium though. As long as they don't start Wout Faes, I think they can win this one 3-1. Well, they did start Wout Faes, and their defense overall was quite poor, which is why they conceded 3. Belgium really had a 3-0 lead in this match, and they nearly let Wales come back. Like I said earlier, Courtois not being in the squad is definitely hurting them. But there's no denying that Rudi Garcia and his men got a bit carried away and thought they could handle this match at ease. If it weren't for Kevin De Bruyne's hero goal at the end to secure the win, this would have been a very disappointing result. And huge shout out to Wales for continuing to believe despite being 3-0 down. They made this match very entertaining. The Faroe Islands versus Gibraltar. Like I already showed, the Faroe Islands put off some really close fights against Montenegro and Czechia, still just falling short. I think this is their perfect opportunity to take 3 points though. I'm saying they beat Gibraltar 2-0. Gibraltar made this one close, to be fair. They had a 1-0 lead at one point, but the Faroe Islands took care of business. One of their goals being directly scored from a corner. Even if that guy got a touch on it, that was going in. Finland versus Poland. Poland, despite getting the results in the last international break, I definitely still feel are not the most convincing. They just scraped through against Lithuania. But like I said, Finland could not even defeat this side. This is a crucial match for Finland though if they want to have any chance in the future. But I do think Poland will be victorious here. It's going to be a very slow match, I reckon, but a 1-0 victory for Polska will be the final score. So Finland have actually pulled off the victory, a huge win for them as well. The Poland national team at the moment are definitely in shambles. Lewandowski announced that he will not be playing for the national team anymore as long as Probiers is in charge. And that news broke out much later after I filmed the prediction video. He claims he lost his trust in his management as he stripped his captain's armband. Probiers was obviously a huge improvement from Santos, but if you're losing the trust from your best player on the team, not a good look at all. And it definitely showed here. Poland have definitely looked more toothless. Glenn Kamara had a fantastic performance. Their second win in this qualifier campaign puts them at the top for now, but only just. The Netherlands will definitely catch up. 2 matches in hand, Poland still have a chance as well, but they definitely need to sort out what's going on with the management. You cannot lose a key player like Robert Lewandowski. This match had to be suspended for a bit as well as a fan fell ill. I'm praying that everything's okay. I'm only just recording this video as soon as all these matches are over. Moving on out to San Marino versus Austria. Sorry, San Marino. Like I said, it's always the world against the team you're facing, but yeah, you're gonna probably get cooked in this one, unfortunately. 4-0 for Austria. Another scoreline correct. Obviously, Austria were going to dominate this match. They share points with Romania now, despite playing 2 less matches than them, and are 3 points behind Bosnia, who played 1 more match than them. So I'm telling you, that fixture between them and Bosnia is definitely going to be one to watch going forward, and I cannot wait for it. Moving on to the Netherlands versus Malta. Again, I'd see another one-sided matchup happening here. I think the Netherlands have what it takes to get a 3-0 victory once again against their opposition in this international break. So I completely jinxed my comments about Croatia getting the best scoreline victory against Gibraltar. Netherlands have just beat them only 1 match day later. 8-0 against Malta. I was in the middle of recording this video while these matches were ending, and Netherlands just continued to dominate this side, proving to be a very dangerous and clinical team, only building momentum. Yeah, come on. They are 100% qualifying for the World Cup. Serbia versus Andorra. No matter what happens in the Albania match, even if they're heartbroken from that, Serbia should definitely take care of business here. Home side as well. They might have some wasted opportunities, but I still think they'll win 2-0 or 3-0. I'll go for 3-0. Oof, good thing I changed that last minute. Mitrovic having the best 100th appearance he could have asked for, getting a hat-trick against the mighty Andorra. They have absolutely dominated this match and have shown that they could be more clinical up front than the likes of England. Romania versus Cyprus next. These guys were in the same Nations League group not that long ago, and Romania definitely took care of business twice against them. 7 goals scored, 1 conceded. I'm actually going to go for the same exact scoreline as the last time they faced. Romania win 4-1. Well, it did not finish 4-1, but still 2-0 victory against Cyprus, even with the injuries. Very dominant match, but they're one of the teams to play the most matches in their group, and they are at 3rd place, like I mentioned, tied on points with Austria, so it's really not a good look. And the final match we're looking at in this video, Latvia versus Albania. Albania, they do it, but don't sleep on Latvia. They definitely can shake up this group one way or another. I could see them giving Albania or Serbia a draw. This one will be extremely cagey and tough, but I do think Albania will pull off the 1-0 victory at the end. Albania couldn't even actually score a goal this match. Their goal was an own goal, and the guy who scored the own goal got the equalizer for his nation. A very disappointing draw for Albania. They failed to get a single win this international break. Serbia draw okay, but Latvia not so. But I told you guys, do not underestimate Latvia. They're going to stir this group one way or another. This match should be served as a warning sign to Serbia, though, that they cannot make the same mistake Albania did. To me, they're one of the deadliest underdogs in UEFA, who have only qualified for one major international trophy, but that should say enough. Albania still hold on to second place, but they have played the most matches along with Andorra, who are last. Serbia and Latvia are only 1 point behind them, and both have played less matches than Albania. Too many draws for Albania, but best of luck in the future. Anyway guys, that's my complete review and reaction for match days 3 and 4 for the World Cup qualifiers in UEFA. Let me know how your team did this international break. I will see you all very soon for more international football content to come. Take care. Lá com nós.